back, U.S. President Donald Trump's insistence on sending troops to Nigeria to quell violence against Christians has drawn lots of reactions from across the country and across the globe. President Donald Trump says he's ordered the military to prepare for action in Nigeria to tackle what he says is Islamist militant groups accusing the government of failing to protect Christians. Well, he's not said which killings he's referring to, but claims a genocide against Nigeria's Christians have been circulating in recent weeks and months in some right-wing U.S. circles. Groups monitoring violence in the country, however, say that there is no evidence to suggest that Christians are being killed more than Muslims in Nigeria, a country which is roughly divided between Christians and Muslims. Well, let's get more reactions to that now. Joining us is international relations expert, Dr. Charles Chukwunaru. He's in Alberta, Canada. Dr. Chukwunaru, thank you for joining us on the program today. And I'm sure that you, just like every other Nigerian, is quite a bit shocked at what the U.S. president is suggesting. Boots on the ground is a lot for America, even for Nigeria. And there have been a flurry of responses, many of them defiant, from the Nigerian government, especially on the part of Trump sending boots to the ground. But do you think that this is serious consideration for President Trump? Do you think it's something he really intends to do?
Well, thank you for having me, Amarachi, although the notice was so short. Yeah, I had to come in because it's a very serious issue. And going straight to your question, the answer is the U.S. will intervene. In fact, this has already gone out. Already, the U.S. has intervened already. So what we are going to witness is how the events will unfold. The U.S. president issued two tweets within a space of 24 hours, and you think it's a joke? And whether the U.S. can intervene, he had done that before. You recall in Trump's the first comment, Trump's 1.0, he went after jihadists in Iraq and Syria, waged a war. And now the U.S. government is alleging there is a swap in Nigeria and that they are killing Christians. And
so why not? So why not just do what the Nigerian government is suggesting, which is if you want to help, with the fight against terrorism in the country, why not give us the arms and the weaponry that we need to fight the insurgents instead of sending boots on the ground?
Yeah. Amarachi, in April 2018, the then President Buhari visited Washington. He saw Donald Trump. Donald Trump gave him Super Tucano helicopters and gave him a direct charge to stop the killing of Christians in Nigeria. 2018. What have they done between that time till now? The United Arab Emirates said they gave, in fact, it was not they said, it was even widely reported by the media, including by your media, that the Emirati government, the United Arab Emirates, released a list of terrorist sponsors in Nigeria. The government of Nigeria kept saying that they are going to do something about it up to today. What has been done? What has the Nigerian government done about it?
So
are Christians not being killed?
So let's move on. And I'm saying this because we have seen the U.S. president also threaten a country like Venezuela with military action. He has been bombing Venezuelan ships, I believe, in the Pacific, trying to get President Nicolas Maduro out of government. That hasn't worked. Recently, he suggested that it's not possible. He doesn't think he will be sending boots on the ground in Venezuela. So do you think that perhaps President Trump could stand down on this threat of his, considering that Nigeria is a sovereign country? We do have security challenges. Thankfully, the government has admitted that. But the government is still saying this will be a violation of our sovereignty. It will be a violation to our troops. It will also cause more trouble on the ground, since the U.S. government cannot distinguish who's a Christian from who's a Muslim. And, even though they know where the terrorists are, this will cause more harm, more carnage than what we're even witnessing right now.
Amarachi, let's be very logical about this. When you talk about sovereignty, there is no absolute sovereignty when you consider the Genocide Convention of 1948 and the responsibility to protect, which the UN unilaterally adopted in 2005. So the responsibility to, under the concept of the responsibility to protect, other nations have an obligation to intervene and stop crimes against humanity, including genocide. So when the people, you see, when I saw the response of the Nigerian government, I was wondering, do they have experts in international relations and international law? Those advising the Nigerian government, are they vast on international relations and legal regulation
really
of conflict?
Does not want to go to war, Dr. Chukwunaro. The U.S. really
I am not talking about war here. I'm talking about intervention under the response. You talked about responsibility, sovereignty, and I'm telling you that there is no absolute sovereignty. That the concept of sovereignty flies in the face of crimes against humanity and genocide. The Nigerian government did not deny that human beings are being killed. They did not deny that Christians are being killed. They said that Muslims are also being killed. That does not vitiate the fact that human beings are being slaughtered, that the right to life in Nigeria is not being respected. I'm talking about intervention.
What response do you think the Nigerian government should have in the face of threats from Donald Trump?
I saw the response of the Nigerian government,
but what should have been their response?
By the president himself.
What should have been their response?
I shook my head. He's not addressing the issues. They are giving you figures.
What should have been their response instead?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They gave you figures of the Christians that have been killed. Out of about 4,476 Christians killed in the world in recent times. About 3,100 is from Nigeria alone. And you're not bringing any counter facts or figures. You are just saying, oh, Nigeria is a country that talks about religious tolerance. We're not talking about religious tolerance here. We are talking about one certain Deborah who was stoned to death, burnt alive, and the perpetrators who are ask yourself, who are the masterminds of these things? When you go to jail,
Dr. Chukwunaro, I don't think that the Nigerian government wants to escalate this tension between the countries, Nigeria and the U.S. President Bola Tinubu had tried to schedule a discussion with President Trump. I think that was eventually downgraded to a meeting with the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and now I understand that meeting is not holding. What other avenues are open to the Nigerian government to negotiate with the U.S. government or to at least address the issue?
Nigeria is not a serious country. Is there an ambassador of Nigeria to the U.S.? But when I saw it, that hold on, let me make this point. When I saw that the Nigerian president was going to see the U.S. after that, I laughed. It is impossible. The Nigerian government cannot get it. The president of a country like Nigeria cannot even if you apply to see the president of the United States, he can't get appointment in the next 6 months. The only way he can go and see the U.S. president is only if he's summoned. Okay. The processes, the processes of getting an appointment in the White House, and you just wake up without any appointment confirmation. You declare you are going to see him. He's a vice president. Nigeria is operating like a rudderless ship. This is not how international relations are conducted, for crying out loud.
Dr. Chukwunaro, this is where we would have to leave it. Thank you so much for expressing your thoughts, your opinions, your analysis on the issue.
But we need to talk more about this. It's a serious matter.
Unfortunately are running out of time. Dr. Chukwunaro, we have to drop it here. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Thanks again.
Thank you for having me.